Well, welcome to the Extra Chromosome episode. I think we're at 7 or 8. But this is a roadie. This is from the road. I'm driving. Been driving from all the way from Tennessee to Utah. It's a 20. I went to Nashville. It's a 23 and a half hour drive. I have just about 10 hours left, and got some stuff to talk about. The world's been kind of going nuts, you know. Had some crazy stuff happen, you know. Just a lot of Trump signed like a ton of executive orders, some of which I think are really cool. Some I'm like, okay, like, you know, some are cool. Some of them are like, okay, like, well, you know, what's going on? And then we also got, you know, like, Trump's been talking about trying to buy fucking Greenland and shit. This is what I really want to talk about, because, like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? Like, here's my problem with the whole, like, MAGA, you know, like, I didn't vote, you know, I think I've said that several times, I don't vote, but, I will say, Trump, like, I liked his stuff. I definitely liked him more than Kamala. I just didn't really know. She felt like, she just felt like she didn't really stand for anything, you know? You know, and that's kind of what my problem was. She felt like she didn't stand for anything, which I hated. I'll be real, I hate that. You gotta stand for something. You gotta have something, you know, that's part of your character. You gotta have something that, like, you're willing to stand. It's like I think a very prime example. I don't know if this is actually how it went down, but there was an actual letter. Alexander Hamilton, he wrote a letter to fucking Congress, and it was the determining vote between Aaron Burr and Thomas Jefferson. And it literally, and he hated Thomas Jefferson. They've been political rivals. And then we also have Aaron Burr had been, you know, one of his homies or whatever, but he said Aaron Burr didn't stand for anything. He never stood for anything, you know? And I want a politician to have some moral character. Like, I've been talking about this recently. It's like, I feel like the world right now is in this battle between good and evil. And I think people misunderstand that everybody it's like a tales of time. Like, throughout all history, we have been involved in a battle between good and evil. You know, humanity has had to strive for good against evil. I think evil is like an easy way. You know, it's like an easy route. And I think we're in the midst of that struggle right now, like humanity always is. And you know, it's like, and I think we need people that have that moral structure. That I think how we turn these evil. So some people, it's like, look, you're gonna act in your self-interest. You're gonna act in an evil way. And I think part of that is having these morally good people that are also good at manipulating. That are also good at looking at it and going, look, like, this person's gonna act this way. All he cares about is himself, or he cares about, you know, he cares about this. He cares about hanging on to his power. I need to make it so that him hanging on to his power, him doing those things, it aligns him with my interests. So it's like, okay, look, if you follow me, we're gonna go to the top. You know, you're probably not doing this for the same reasons I am, because this person, you know, they're morally good. They have they're in their mind, their obligation, their motivation is, I want to find the best possible course. I have these principles that I will morally stand up for, that I believe in, you know, and I'm not going to flip-flop. You know, this is how I live my life. I'm a principled individual. Like, I think there's a character, I know I've talked about it before, but it's just characters like that. I'm trying to think of a really good example. It's like a Christian that, you know, that can turn the other cheek on stuff and be like, yeah, we, you know, that, you know, it's just kind of like, it's something like that, you know. So if we have something like that, these moral structures or whatever, that's kind of what What am I trying to say here? God, I lost my train of thought. But basically, I would like, I think my problem with Kamala Harris was like, look, like, it just felt like she didn't have anything she would stand for. Like, she did this in her previous career. She prosecuted people for, like, weed. She was going after people for, like, little amounts of weed. And she was trying to throw people in jail. And now she's, like, now she's, like, changed her mind on that. And I'm like, okay, maybe. But, like, it just never felt like, even, like, watching the debate, you just never felt like there was really a whole lot in her. And then, like, she had that instance on an interview where she's, like, they're asking her, like, okay, what are you doing about this right now? Because she's in office. And and then she's trying to point it, like, throw it to Trump and be like, well, he's been running. And you're like, wait, but you've been in office. Like, what are you doing about it now? It's just kind of crazy to me, like, all this stuff. Like, I just can't, it just, like, I just didn't get, I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot to her. She kind of felt like a facade, but, and so, it is what it is, like, a lot of these executive orders, like, I was kind of going on my point of, like, look, I hate this Greenland talk, I hate this Canada talk. Yes, that's what I was talking about. I was pointing out that because of the reasons why I like Trump, but, a lot of it, like, I just don't like this Greenland, I don't like this Canada talk, like, what are we even doing, dude? I get it, like, we should be focusing, on a message of America first, dude. What are we doing trying to get more land? Like, and I think it's this whole, like, it's so dumb, dude. We need to take care of us first, boys. Take care of America first. Like, I'm done with this I don't give a fuck about these other places, bro. Yeah, obviously if there's a tragedy, like Israel, Gaza, there's a tragedy, Ukraine, these wars, yes, there's a reason we need to be involved, and we need to get them out of that, and we need to sue for peace. But I don't care about Greenland. I don't care about Canada. Like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing, bro? We should be done with this Greenland, done with this Canada nonsense, bro. We got homeless people here. We got stuff we can spend money on here. What are we gonna buy? Why are we buying Greenland? What resources they have that we desperately need? Move on, dude. Move on. We are focused on us. We need to be focused on American citizens. We need to focus on giving us what we need. We need to focus on making our country better. Like, all this stuff, and it's just like, why are you talking about Greenland right now? To me, and it just reeks of, like, this like thing about power. Like, Trump, I think he realized he won. His first step, he was so focused on winning the election. I think he did really well in the campaigns. I listened to a lot of his stuff. I listened to a lot of interviews with Kamala. Listened to a lot of interviews with Trump. Like, yeah, it was very good. It was nice to be informed about the election and stuff like that, and kind of see the difference in how they handled each other. And, like, you're like, I can see Trump as, like, a real person. And but I think the problem I'm having with it now is, I'm like, dude, what are we doing talking about Greenland? Who gives a fuck about Greenland? Greenland's dumb, dude. I want you to talk about fixing America. I want you to sign executive order. I want you to fix America. Fix America, dude. Make it so America works out, bro. That's what I want. America to work out. It's just not like, I feel like there's I think he's thinking of it in this terms of, like, he gets in the presidency and he thinks of it as like this. He's like, I need something to be remembered by. He's like, I want to be one of the greats that brought new land to the country. Like Thomas Jefferson. I forget a bunch of other ones, that brought new land into our country. And I'm like, dude, we don't need more land, bro. We have a fuck ton of land. We got a fuck ton of stuff. Let's just focus. Okay, let's just relax a little and focus on focus on fixing the problems we have. We've had a kind of shitty economy. We've had this. We've had crazy inflation. Our home values are ridiculous right now. Wages aren't really matching a lot of their living conditions. nobody, you can't be satisfied. We have an insane, like everyone, we have an insane wealth disparity. Obviously, he's not going to focus. He is one of the elite, so he's not going to be focusing on he's really not going to be focusing on making, kind of closing that gap. I hope he focuses on putting the strength back in our middle class. Like, I hope he focuses, on moving towards an America where the majority of our wealth and our stuff has gone into our middle class, and our middle class is as strong as ever. I think our middle class is definitely, it's been better. It's not at the worst point. Like, we had worse points like Great Depression, stuff like that, but the America needs to put its strength back into its middle class. We need to be working on our small business, all this stuff, and it just frustrates me that we're trying to look at other places, like, let's go for Greenland. It's like stop being a fucking hypocrite. It's either America, is it about America first? Like, well, we could use their resources. I'm like, dude, like, move on. Like, who cares, dude? We have resources here. Like it's like, why do we need, like, oh my God, at the very least, like, let's start, and obviously it shouldn't be, maybe you have this ultimate plan to get Greenland, but at the first, you should soft float. At the very least, to be tactful, be like, look, like, Greenland has these resources, we should definitely make a treaty with them, do some stuff, maybe get some workers, maybe get some more American business in there, or maybe something like that, so we can harvest their resources, instead of, like, and maybe we have a deal, so we enrich them, and it also helps us with needed resources, instead of pushing for this, like, no, we want to buy. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe in the long run this saves us money, but this isn't a fucking, this isn't like a door-to-door sale or a it's just frustrating to me. I'm frustrated about all this, like, talk about other places. I want the conversation to be focused on us, focused on American citizens. I want us, and, like, it just, it's just frustrating, man. Like, the world, I've been looking at it, and I realized I had an argument with my brother and my dad a while back, and we were talking about the nukes. We were talking about, let's say Russia sends the nukes. They send the nukes, and it's like, the only thing that's, like, the point is, they send all the nukes, we send all the nukes, and it's global annihilation. And we were talking, and both of them were like, I wouldn't be the guy to press the button. And I was like, 100%. If Russia sent the nukes, or I was Russian, America sent the nukes, I would be the first one to be like, no, we're pressing the button. And it's basically the question. The question we boiled it down to, let's say you're like, there's two families left, okay? Your family and another family is left in this, like, post-apocalyptic, like, nuclear, world. And let's say that's the situation. And they kill your entire family. You're left, and it's like, and they were saying, no, I wouldn't go after them because we need humanity to survive. And I said, no. If they come after my shit, I have to come after them. And I've realized it's a bad mindset to have. This is that mindset we're in. That's that monkey brain. Like, they come after my shit, I have to come after their shit. It's that thing of, like, in the pursuit of monsters, you become monstrous. When you have to fight against the monstrous, you usually become a monster. And because it's just like they're gonna come after you this hard, so you're like, no, the threat of retaliation has to be so bad that they will not think of coming after me. But the problem is when you both have that mindset, you both start to think that way. So then they're thinking they come after you, you retaliate harder, then they have to retaliate harder. It's this just back and forth cycle. And I realized recently, I was like, somebody has to turn the other cheek. In order for the cycle to stop, somebody has to turn the other cheek. Somebody has to decide. Like, it's like somebody has to take the first step towards peace. Somebody has to forgive and forget. And I really want to try to live by that philosophy of just forgiving and forget. Forgiving and forgetting. Like, I get it. Obviously, there's some things, like, I don't want to be a pushover, but I think in some situations, I'm just going to forgive and forget. Instead of being all angry, I can just move on. I'd be like, all right, man, whatever, and just push forward. Do whatever you want to do, you know? I think we're missing that as humans with our little tribal, our fucking, you know, our little like our prehistoric brain. Like, I think we're missing that of, like, you know, like, I look like all these wars and all this stuff. It's like, look, dude, like, I get it. We can't just let people do violent shit and get away with it. There needs to be a punishment, but it's like, look, at the end of the day, we've got to, somebody has to turn the other cheek. Somebody has to start. Somebody has to take that first step in peace so we can have a more peaceful society. Like, it's just, and somebody's going to have some injustice brought upon them. And I think it's, there's this great story. I was watching this video I had to do for, like, drunk driving, okay? Drunk driver hit a bus, a fucking bus full, like a school bus full of kids. Terrible fucking situation. A lot of these kids, there was a fire. A lot of these kids had to, like, climb out of the fire. A bunch of them got burned, and their lives are never the same. A bunch of them died. Like, I can't remember exactly, but this guy or whatever, one of the kids that survived after like 5-10 years of that guy being in jail, wrote a letter. Said, I forgive you, man. She forgave. She turned the other cheek and she forgave his mistake. And at the time when I was watching it, I didn't get it, you know? I was sitting there like, what do you mean? Like, I just couldn't see myself, I couldn't see myself doing something like that, you know? And now I think I've realized, I'm like, yeah, that's the right decision. Like, he's in jail, you know, he's living his punishment. He's going to be in there for like 30-something years. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of time. And you don't gain anything from holding on to that hatred, holding on to this and blaming him for all these bad things in your life. She just forgave and forgot, and she's like, yep, my life's better. She talked about it, she's like, yep, my life's better for it now. And I'm like, dude, that's beautiful. To me, that's beautiful now. I'm like, I used to not understand it, but now I'm like, god damn, that is fucking beautiful, dude. Beautiful. But it's like, I will say, like, that's just, it's such a beautiful note. Somebody to forgive, to be able to forgive somebody that ruins your life, and you're, you know, you live through this horrific experience, and you're gonna be changed for the rest of your life. That's awesome. That's just awesome. So, you know, I'm just trying to live, like, I guess I'd have to really think, but, like, I just like this forgive and forget's awesome. It's cool. I think it's dope. I think that's what we need in this world, is people that are willing to forgive and forget, move on. Just move on. Be like, yep, that happened. It sucks. It's a horrible time, you know. I fucking hated it, but it happened. And then you're like, yep, and now I'm moving on. I am moving on with my... it's such a powerful thing. Such a powerful thing to have tragedy, have something that normally you'd be bitter about and angry about for the rest of your life, and you'd be thinking about that. It's just living in your head rent-free. To just let it go. Let him go, evict him. Get it out of there, evict it. Get it out of your brain, you know? So, I just love... It really is like a human story, and I think we need to move towards that. And so, it's just a powerful thought. But I've been thinking a lot about great people. You know, I've been reading. I talked about it on either the last episode or the episode before that. I talked about this guy, Babouf. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like French, but it's like Babouf. It's Boubef or something. It's got two B's and an F, basically. It's a BBF. We'll call him BBF. BBF, this communist guy. Obviously, not the greatest guy. He believed in communism wholeheartedly. But it comes back to this principled individuals thing that I've been thinking about so much. like, so I'll just summarize it briefly because I have talked about it before, but it's like, he got arrested with all his communist conspirators, and they were fucking, and he was definitely the leader, but he could have gotten off. He could have got jail time, he would have gotten off, he was like, kind of, you know, but he spent 3 days defending and talking about his ideology and why communism, why the common man needs to rise up against the bourgeoisie. And dude, it's reading that, it was just powerful for me. Like, I'm reading it, dude, and I'm sitting there having this like moment of like, fuck, dude, you know, I'm sitting there like, this dude was this man was principled, dude. He, like, I've had conversations about the only selfish, like, if you really think about selfishness and what we're doing, I feel like the only completely selfless acts happen when you give up your life. Because the problem is, because like a lot of these acts that are selfless usually pertain to gain from the person, you know, gain for the person, which, you know, their social standing or their economic situation. Usually there's something in it for them. But when you die for something, I feel like that's part of the reason why the Jesus story is so profound. It's like he gave up his life for humanity. It's the only completely selfless act you can do. Giving up your existence. You are giving up everything you are for a cause, for something you believe in, dude. You know how cool, you know how fucking, God, that's so powerful, dude. Powerful, man. Is somebody giving up everything they are for a cause, man. And you're just like, oh, dude. You just sit there and go, you're fucking sick, dude, you know? You're fucking sick, man. You know, it's just, you said that this dude he's gone way beyond what anybody else I feel like is usually willing to do, you know? So it's just, to me, it's such a profound, so reading that, like, this guy, he basically did this 3-day trial where he just talked about what he believed in. And you're just like, oh, like, I was reading that, and then the nail in the coffin, this is just like, he wrote a letter to his wife and his daughter, and he said, mourn, I hope you don't mourn me for the wrong, I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically he said, I've lived with no regrets, and he said, I've lived my life with no regrets, and he said he loves them, and he's like, I hope you continue, like, something like, don't remember me in the bad way, something like that, but it's just like, I can't remember exactly, you know, just don't, but basically he said, I live my life with no regrets. Oh my gosh. And that's just awesome. It's like, you have no regrets in how you lived your life. I get, you know, and there's also that aspect that people can look at, like, oh, he is being selfish, you know, he's leaving his wife and daughter, he could have lived and, you know, raised his daughter. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but this ideology was so powerful for him, was so powerful, and he was so, like, he believed in it so much, he gave up his life for it, man. Gave up his life for it. Like, goddamn, dude. Went to the like, held his head held high, bro. That's how you want fucking life to be. That's how I want to live just like, and it's like, and I think a modern day example of that, or of that without the death part, you know, obviously he didn't give up his life, but Ronnie Coleman is a bodybuilder, 7-time or 5-time, something like that. Like, he won Mr. Olympia fucking shitloads of times, you know. He's Mr. Universe a fucking fuck ton of times, heavyweight division. But basically, I mean, I think there's interviews with him, and he's like destroyed. His legs are gone, you know. He has a hard time walking. He still goes and works out. He still does all this stuff, but I think the biggest thing for me that just makes me find him like such an inspirational figure is when they ask him, they go, so do you have any regrets about it? And he's like, he said there's a video. He said, I was squatting 800 pounds. He's like, he did like 6-some reps, and he goes, the only thing I regret is that I could have got 2 more. I could have gotten 2 more reps. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. That is this man lived the life he wanted to live. That is fucking awesome, dude. This man is living the life he wants to live. And I'm just like, I don't know what. It's something so powerful about people that go through it and they've gotten to their old age where they've accomplished something. And, Ronnie Coleman's a great man. This Babouf, great fucking man. And then you have people like Alexander the Great or Marcus Aurelius or Genghis Khan, and obviously maybe even this Bubef guy who's planning a revolution, maybe it's not the best. Obviously these people didn't take the best actions. They weren't great pacifists. They weren't great people like that, that today I think we really need to try to idolize as great peacemakers. People that are willing to swallow their pride and willing to move you towards, that are willing to move society towards a future where we become, where the people, we become citizens. We become peaceful, and we become good people, and we become, what am I trying to say? We become, we become peaceful, and we become, I guess what am I trying to say here? Basically, we're become the society where we can, this global, where instead of working towards, obviously, we need nationalism right now. Globalism, moving towards an insanely globalistic thing. We're just going to be we're going to be pandering towards these powers, but where we get to a point where we can have a globalist society that isn't working on disparaging these other groups of people, that doesn't pander towards the few superpowers that we have, where we can move towards a globalist society that is about the global well-being, instead of, I feel like the globalist society right now is just about the powerful. The globalist society is yes, Russia, China, the US, and certain European countries and different stuff. I feel like we should be able to move towards that, and I feel like the first step definitely is it's putting our air mask on first. It's making our country the best for our people, and also coming up with rules of look, obviously we want other people. We don't want to be all about ourselves and stuff like that. We obviously want other people to be able to come in and have a good time, and do stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we obviously want immigration, is what I'm trying to say. We want to bring people over that are living in terrible situations, they're doing this, but also at the same time, we have to help our citizens first. Then once we get our citizens, once we get our stuff right, then we can bring in the folds. We can start bringing in the folds of people. We can start bringing in, these people from these terrible places. Obviously, you still want to help them now, but at the end of the day, you have to, you can't help everybody. You can't, I'd love to make it so everybody can live, how we live. I want everybody in the world to be how we live, but if we don't figure out how we're living first, we don't figure out our recycling, we don't figure out all these problems that we're going to be running into in the next 40, probably next 30 years. I'm thinking more 40, 50. I don't know exactly, though. I'd have to really look into it, but even then, we can't really have an accurate prediction. So, but I think, basically, I think we need to figure out a better trajectory and a better way to kind of handle some of the problems we are going to be running into. Then we can start bringing more people into the fold. It's just tough right now. I feel like you can't. Obviously, it's such a fine line to walk. A lot of these issues is because we want to be compassionate, but we also want to help ourselves. So it's just like that moral, it's kind of like that conundrum. It's like, I want to be able to turn the other cheek, and I want to be able to forgive and forget, but I don't want to be a pushover. I want to stand up for what I believe in, but I don't, but I also want, it's like such a tough, it's tough, man. I feel like everything, it's just like, it's so many gray areas, hard to figure out. But I feel like, and that's a lot of these great people that lived principled lives and did and great things, moved mountains, took over, thousands of acres, thousands of miles, took over the world, they were once ruling the world. It's like, it's such a momentous, like, people try to focus on, this is what they did bad. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but we should venerate great people. Like, what's the point of, like, history? I get it. History, we're supposed to learn from the past mistakes. But we also need to learn. We need to look at these people and go, what made him seek out and just create this, like this amazing kind of culture, this amazing situation, So, a lot of it's that, I want these people to, I feel like we should be venerating a lot of these great people, and obviously we need to look like, hey, they made these mistakes and we can't do that, but at the end of the day, we remember, look at what they fucking did for the world. But it's tough. And then, but I just been thinking about that a lot recently, like, what do we, like, it's just like that what makes people great, and turning the other cheek, forgiveness, this whole, like, it's just this crazy concept, I feel like, that we need to really focus on more as a society. I feel like we should be we should definitely be venerating great peacemakers. Great peacemakers in our society is what we should be venerating. I feel like these great these war makers, yes, Alexander the Great, I pointed out a lot of them. I think their time's over. I think great war makers and great people that brought fucking goddamn, dude, that brought territory into the motherland used to be like, yes, you brought us new territory, new land, but it's such a, in my head, it's such a feudal mindset, like feudalism, like the medieval ages where, it was all about lands and titles, and when you did something great, you were given land. Like, land wasn't really, it wasn't really purchased. It's like, oh, this is the king's land. At the end of the day, he can take it from me, but he's given me the title for the land. He's giving me that deed, that title, and so you're like, I technically, I run it, I oversee it, I pay him tax. But I feel like that's a lot of, it's just this mindset that we're stuck in. We are like, you think our culture, we were like that. We were these European lords, and this, like, in America's society, that was our founding. We were, that was kind of how society was ran for hundreds and maybe even thousands of years, of like giving these titles away. And now we're in 2025, where it's like, look, like, land, we shouldn't do land like that anymore, and like we just need to move. And, just like this, we need to move past this feudal mindset of like, yes, we need the land, we need to bring land home. It's like, no, we need to work towards ourselves. We have enough land, we have enough natural resources, we have everything we need here. It's just, we got to use it. So I'm just not, is what it is. I'm just not, like, I feel like we should be focused on what we're doing now here in the country. But this is America. We need to figure out America. Then we need to go, hey, maybe we should help out Greenland. Maybe, they have some stuff that can help us. It's a mutual, obviously, like, and I feel like that's how the globalization needs to start. And then it needs to go, and then you need to take it a step further of helping everyone else. So, like, in the globalization, first, your kind of steps, I feel like, is first, we figure our shit out. We get our stuff figured out. We figure out some problems. Recycling, renewable energy, like, obviously wind and solar power is not going to work. We figured that out. We've had too long. Wind and solar panels are not going to work. Wind and solar is garbage. What are we doing? What are we actually now? How are we going to get power figured out? Okay, nuclear fission. How far away from nuclear fission? Can we subsidize research? Can we subsidize more research, put more money towards it? What other research is going on? Oh, so Trump just signed an executive order. There's 2 executive orders that really stuck out to me that I think we can really solve the problem. That can really help the problem. So he got rid of all the DEI functions. They're all fired. They're all gone already. I think, I don't know, but DEI functions in the government are gone. We take that money that we were allocating towards DEI and put it towards, and he also declared an energy emergency in the U.S. So we have an energy emergency. So we take that money that we did from DEI and we put it towards more resource towards new renewable energy sources. And you make sure these scientists are legit. You give them a lot of money. You get the best scientists working on this problem. That's what we want. Then, we also, with our immigration, obviously, I think a lot of it too, looking at our school system, we are really declining on having the best students. We have great colleges, but we have a ton of foreign students, all this stuff. Revamp public schools. We're in this outdated factory mindset of schooling. Obviously, and the problem with education is there's been a few different things tried. We could go the Germany route where you move into specialization. So in Germany's school system, it's so specialized, but it's one of the best school systems in the world. So they'll figure out what they're doing at 16, which is crazy to me. Obviously we maybe don't want something like that, but honestly, it might be the best way to go. Because I think you might have to compromise with schooling of look, we want to have the best engineers, we want to have the best this, so we need to have them go to school, and we need to have them kind of specialize a little early. So maybe nothing like state, and so maybe specialized, and at the very least, you need to make the first 2 years of college need to be a lot more, you need to make them a lot more specialized, You need to make the first 2 years of college, what are we fucking doing generals for? What are we doing generals for? If you're going to college, you should literally be 100% getting a degree, going for a degree, going for a specific career. And in high school, I think we should definitely change it so if we really need these 2 years of college, just put those 2 years of college, put them in to high school. Make it so these AP classes, I feel because look, we want to have the best students, okay? If we want to have the best students, we want to have the best scientists. I think of the world, we're kind of in this, we're always going to be in a scientific race to the end, until we can become fully globalist. We are in a scientific space race till the end. So we're in a scientific race with all these other countries, with China, with Russia, with Britain, with all these places where we don't have a scientific, maybe we have a scientific alliance with a couple of them, but we don't have it with a lot of them. So we need to get that figured out. That's number one. You need to revamp that school system. Well, number one is stop looking at fucking Greenland, stop looking at fucking Canada, stop looking at Mexico. Focus on America. We got homeless, figured out. We got two states suffered horrific fires where thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands of people at least, have been displaced. Let's figure that out. What do we got to do for that? Okay, one problem at a time. What do we got to do for that? All right, he helped out with Trump already signed 3 or 4 executive orders. It's probably more than that help with emergency response, that are trying to help with these people, trying to get them in their homes, trying to get these fires fought, get them put out so we can start the rebuilding process. He rebuilds on that fire. That's massive public approval for the next candidate. His endorsement is going to be huge in this next election. But we aren't looking at that. We're looking forward. Okay? But back on topic is we need if we revamp our school system so we make them a little more specialist. I think you can find a middle ground where America has the most creative out-of-the-box thinkers. I think you can find a middle ground for that. You can find a middle ground where where we still have that same diversity of thought. We still have that same creativity level where everyone's come up with the best ideas and the newest stuff, and they're on the cutting edge. But we also can be a little more specialized, so we have people that can follow through all this stuff. So we can look at our school system, and I'm like, okay, so what can we eliminate right now that would make our school system way more effective? There's a full 2 years of college of general education that's fucking pointless. Okay, let's roll it into high school. Let's make high schools harder. Let's make junior highs a little harder. Let's make it so these kids have to focus and start doing study habits. So what do you do in schools then? What do you do in schools? You venerate good people. Venerate good people. Bring in people that have done hard ass shit to speak to. Be like, yeah, I went here. I did this. I did that. Or bring in these engineers. Yeah, I'm an engineer. I make this much money a year. Start bringing in realistic careers where maybe they're small business owners. Bring in small business owners. I don't think I had a single speech in one of my schools by a small business owner. Not a single one in high school. Not a single one talking to me about success. Not a single business owner came in and go, yeah, I'm a small business owner. I make $350. Just be honest. Be honest. Yeah, I make $350,000 a year. I run. I take all the risk on myself. I do all this, and talking about how hard it is. Look, I work for mine. Then talking about I work my ass off. Yeah, fucking shit sucks. Shit, I love where it's like, yeah, you talk to them about it and being realistic with these kids and pushing them. I think that pushes them then, bringing in those speakers, but also getting rid of those first 2 years of college, making college should start at, okay, this is what I'm majoring in. This is what I'm majoring in. This is what I want to do. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, you figured out you don't want to do that? Okay, you can switch over, but then they tell you, they're like, no, you can only switch over to these degrees. This is where your credits transfer. You pick a few, or at the very least, when you get into it, it should be like, so we get rid of those first 2 years. How's my ass, bro? What are you doing? Sorry, I'm on the road. This fucking dudes. I'm going the speed limit, boys. I don't go slow. I don't go fast, or I don't go slower. I go the speed limit. But basically, it should be this. You go in, and let's say they're like, okay, what do you want to do? You're going to college, so you've done all the education, you've gotten all the math, you've gotten all the geography, you've gotten all that in high school and junior high already. We make junior high and high school harder. We kind of have to make all these schools harder. They need to be harder. When you stop giving out participation trophies, grades need to be hard to get. Okay, you get the grades. You make school a little harder. Okay, but you also make school a little harder, but you're also looking at subjects. So it's like, okay, you didn't do great in math, maybe you didn't try very hard in math, but you did pretty good in art. You qualify for getting an art degree. You qualify for these degrees. So it's like, instead of going, no, you don't get to go to college, they're like, look, if you want to go to school for something, you qualify for this stuff in art. You qualify for this in business. You qualify for this, you qualify for different sections in schooling. And maybe it is free schooling, but maybe it's just cheap schooling. Maybe it's just cheaper, because we don't need it to be as expensive. But okay, I'm getting off track here. But basically, you qualify for different sections, not to go to school for a whole thing. So, all right, that's what I'm trying to say. So, maybe you get good grades in art, maybe you get good grades in math, but you don't get good grades in art. Maybe you get good grades in this, but you don't get good grades in that. So you qualify for maybe just business and maybe just business, maybe engineering, maybe STEM. Like, you're only qualifying for certain fields. They're like, no, you don't get to go to school for that. And then there's also trade school. Like, yeah, you can go to trade school. We have a trade school here. Awesome. Yep, we're gonna get you traded. Then you're gonna be union. You're gonna make this much a year. You're gonna do this. Yep, you get a job. It's pretty easy, stuff like that. But basically, I think how we can do the schooling is we get rid of the first 2 years of college. Completely get rid of it. It's fucking pointless. What are we doing? General education? Don't teach. Why? College is going to departments. Like, oh, okay, you're the art department, you're the business department. That's all they're doing. And you qualify in school. You qualify for specific. Departments. You qualify. Yeah, like I was saying. So school is going to be a little harder. You're going to have to learn a little more in high school. You're going to come out, but you come out of high school with junior high. You come out with a smarter population. You come out with a better population. That can think. We come out with smarter kids. Then, first 2 years of fucking college is gone. You go into college, they go, let's say you go in, you got qualified for business. You qualify for business. You do your business, bro. You're doing business right now. You're doing business or whatever. I'm trying to forget what the fuck business. You're doing business stuff. Fuck. Jesus Christ, my brain. But you qualified. You're going to school for business, and you got to specialize. They're like, yeah, okay. What do you want to do in business? So the first year, so college, instead of doing, okay, you're going to do that 2 years of general, then we're going to go into more specialized education where, now you're actually learning what your major's about. I'm like, cool. Now I'm learning what my major's about. So then, instead, you go right in, and your general education, that you have a year of general shit you're learning about business. You're like, okay, you're doing an account. It's a very set curriculum. You can take some different stuff, but it's going to disqualify you. I think you have a meeting. You have a meeting with I think mandatory you go into college, you have to have a meeting with a counselor. You have to have a meeting with a counselor, or you just have a fucking senior there that just breaks it down. And like, look, if you take this class, you can't do this. You take this class, it's going to qualify you for this. It's like, look, we're trying to specialize you and get you good, so you're the best at your field. So it's like, look, you're going to be an accountant in business. You're going to be a financial accountant. You're going to be this in business. Okay, you're going to be the best at it. You're going to know the best. You're going to be the most specialized. You're going to know all this about it. So I think we have to move towards a school system like that. And so then college, we lower the price, but we make sure that when these people come out, they have a job. So, because we have to change it. Right now, our schooling system is built on this outdated factory model, and it should be built around. It should be built around a corporatized, it should be built around working in a corporation or working for a small business. In a small business, I think your biggest difference between a small business and working for a corporation is the problem solving you have to do. In a corporation, normally there's very set methods of how we're going to get stuff done. Maybe at the higher levels, there's there's more there's more interpretation. But putting people in and being like, look, you have to solve this problem. That's what I think we should do. We should be having people be like, yeah, you have to solve this problem. You have to do this. It's a lot of our schooling should be figuring out how to solve problems, stuff like that. So when they go into these small business jobs, they work for a big company at a higher up level. People are thinking, oh, I need to solve complex problems, not just repeat what I've been told, not just and then if we have this more specialized schooling, you can come into your job without them having to completely reteach you and teach you what you're going to be doing. You already have a big grasp of it. Yeah, they're teaching you, okay, this is how our methods, this is what we do, But other than that, I just feel like we could definitely move our school into a more specialized route, and we have to make school harder. Have to make kids focus. We're like, yeah, this is what you're going to do. And then if you're fucking up, you don't have the grades, it's like, okay, look, dude, you can be a plumber. It's your certification. You want a plumber certification? Well, we're starting you at 16. You give them the option. You go, look, this job's going to suck. You have a plumber come in, talk to him. Tell kids, his job is not to persuade them. His job is just to talk about it, dude. Give kids a realistic example, of what it's supposed to be like. Sorry, I was just passing this fucking car. But yeah, you give kids a realistic example of what it's like to be a plumber. You have a guy come in, he talks about it. He goes, yeah, it sucked. He goes, yeah, it kind of sucks. You're working, you're trying to figure out these pipes, you're doing demo, it's kind of shitty, But I make this much money. I made this much money that year. I own a house. I actually own 2 homes. You can start doing your own business. I run a crew. You talk about, look, it's shitty work, but the opportunities are there. The opportunities are there, and it's good money. I didn't have to go to school. Oh, yeah, I don't want to go to school. Okay, be a plumber. Stuff like that. Moving people into these careers. I just feel like a lot of this stuff could be so beneficial. Like teaching kids, how to do all that, and you could definitely redesign the school system, really push people towards careers and stuff like that. And it's just like, I think you have to move towards a more specialized model, and you have to make schooling harder. And you gotta move away from this fucking you gotta move away from this, like, we need history, but some of these classes, I'm like, cut them. And universities should look at the department and go, you should be looking at universities, especially government universities, that have these weird departments going, hey, what the fuck, is this a department? What are we doing here? What jobs do kids get if they get this degree? And as a government, you should be looking at, like, certain degrees and going like, wait, so if they get a degree in this, the job likelihood is this, the amount of money they're making is this, so, but there's the high end, like, there's not really a job market for it. I'd be like, oh, so why are we offering this degree? Get rid of it. And you get rid of pointless degrees. You're like, look, schooling's about success. If you're going to be going to school, yeah, if we want the best people, you have to get rid of fucking bullshit degrees. You can't go to school and come back with a bullshit degree. You got to go to school and come back with fucking something lit. That's what I'm saying, like that. This is the problem with a lot of it, but, you know, I know this one's probably dragging on. I mean, let's see how much time we've had. Yeah, it's about an hour. I'm probably going to leave it here pretty soon, but, yeah, just want everyone to know, like, you got to end it on a positive note. I've been thinking we have to learn as a society to turn the other cheek. Somebody has to start. Think of it like this: when you get that angry, when you're like, fuck this dude, he's fucking with my shit, he's coming after me, I gotta come after him. Think about it like this: go, somebody has to start. And that's what I think about. I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't want to be, you don't want to. Obviously you don't want to do that. That shit fucking sucks. I gotta forgive this guy for fucking me over. I gotta forgive this girl for fucking me over. No, yeah. But remember, somebody has to take the first step. If you don't take the first step, who will? Who will? Who will take the first step towards peace? Who will take the first step towards making us a better society? And yeah, that's what that's what I'm gonna end it on. Turn the other cheek. Very biblical fucking saying, but I think it's a great saying. Turn the other cheek. Who is gonna take that first step, man? Who will take that first step? All right, guys, thanks for listening. If you are, peace out.